Hello, everyone. Good evening to our viewers. It's a Wednesday again. We are back to have our usual Wednesday conversations. I know last week we didn't have one, but that's a story for another day. But we're back again this Wednesday to come and continue our usual conversations that we have. Um, we are still going to do what we did last week in today's conversation. We're going to post a link in the comment section, and people will be able to join in and share their different views about today's topic. So we're having a very interesting conversation today, and it's going to touch on the few things that have been happening in the country. A particular one, the issue of political violence. I think we've noticed dating as far back as 2011, it's difficult not to see. Now it's very difficult now not to see violence every time we're having an election, and this is happening at all levels of the elections that we're having. Be it the general elections, be it the council chair, as far as simple as ward elections are having very serious political violence. Now we're in a year where we're having our general elections, and we're already seeing very serious levels of political violence. And we know that the larger majority, who are the poor people, are usually the biggest victims of political violence itself. At the same time, we can't forget about talking about the perpetrators. So far, we've seen, and from the records that we've had so far, we have seen that young people have been the leaders in the issue of violence. They are always seen in the forefront practicing the violence itself. And today we're going to talk about all those issues. So like I said, the conversation will not be centered around me, but we're going to have a conversation like we had the last time we had a conversation. I'm going to post a link in the chat, and those who will be joining in, you have to click the link, and then I'll admit you in the link. Then we can have a conversation. I can see a lot of comments already coming in. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining in. I can already see a bit of complaints coming in as well. But anyway, let's continue with our conversation. So I'm going to share the link in about now. So that's a link that has been posted. You can find it both on I am Pilato Zambia on YouTube, and if you are watching us from Facebook, you can catch us from the page Pilato. Also, you can catch us on the page People's Action for Accountability and Good Governance. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. You're free to join in with the link posted there. We are having a conversation about political violence and what are the solutions do we feel are going to work during this period. I know people have mixed thoughts. I'll share my opinion, but maybe preferably at the end or before people begin to join, since I'm still talking on my own and people are not joining in, I can start the conversation on how we feel political violence can be worked out. So I am a strong believer that there's nothing that happens from without, especially when it comes to political violence. I think it's been in public domain ever since we started having elections that are accompanied with a lot of violence. I don't know if we've had so far any election where someone has not died and it's a big election, which is very sad. I stand to be corrected if we have had cases where no one has died. But so far, we've seen that the cases are getting extreme, and almost in every election, we're having people dying. And the most unfortunate thing is that the biggest victims themselves are the young people. The biggest victims are the women. But at the same time, they've put young people to be at the forefront of this act, which is very bad. Now, we're all aware that this is a problem that has to be sorted out sooner or later. Otherwise, we might find ourselves in a situation that we shouldn't be thinking of. We might find ourselves reach an extent of war where people get upset or where groups get upset. We might find ourselves having a case where the idea of killing each other because of having different political opinions becomes a normal thing. So far, we're having a conversation about parties fighting each other, but soon we will find that even the general citizens may join in, and it may be a very chaotic case, and we don't even know how we're going to control it. I'm hoping people can start joining in now, but I'm still waiting for you. Someone said repost the link. I've reposted the link in the comment section. I'll keep posting it so that people are able to catch it on time every time they join in. So I've done another posting just now. Yeah. So recently, we've seen a lot of violence that has been happening in areas such as, is it, yeah, Mpulungu. We've seen a lot of cases as well that have been happening so far in Lusaka, especially. Every time someone is campaigning, we are hearing a case of violence. And we know, like everyone else is agreeing, it's an issue that has to be sorted just now. But so far from the people, what do you feel are the solutions? What should the country do? Or what should the police do? Or, I mean, what should the president do? What should political parties do? I know many people have different views of how it should be worked out. And those are the ideas that we want to hear from you, that we should talk about here and engage with the rest of the public. Now, as you join in, there are rules that we are supposed to use. One, you need to turn on your camera and you need to have an identifiable name. So please, as you are joining in, make sure you switch on your cameras because people need to see you. I can already see there are people who are trying to join in, but what I can't see are their faces, which becomes a bit difficult because I can't allow you in unless if your camera is on. I can see Mr. Mike there. I'm just not sure if his camera is on or not. And I can see the other gentleman, Mr. Samson Sonda. Please switch on your cameras. Those who are asking how you can participate, there's a link I keep posting in the comment section. What you have to do is click on that link and join in the conversation. I'll be able to add you on the screen and then you can give your thought about the violence. And let's just see how we can propose solutions and share them with the rest of the public on how we can be able to solve the issue of political violence that has become a very huge discussion right now. So I'll try and admit this person, but they will have to switch on their camera. Good evening, Ms. Tamsonda. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can get you loud and clear. Good evening.
Good evening, Chief. Well, the rules of the conversation is that you need to switch on your camera. We cannot proceed with the conversation unless if your camera is on.
Okay, pretty much. Let me just prepare myself. I should be able to switch on my camera pretty soon.
Please do that.
All right.
Thank you. Yeah. So while we're still waiting for Mr. Samson to switch on his camera, I can see that, okay, there are a few people beginning to connect. Ladies and gentlemen, please make sure as you are joining in, you switch on your cameras. It's impossible for me to admit you without your cameras being on. Can we be able to do that so that people can be able to see us as we are having our conversation? Mr. Agri, can you hear us? Okay, some of you I think are having a bit of network challenges, so I'll be admitting those who are. So I've added Mr. Romeo to the conversation because your camera is on. Meanwhile, please go ahead if you can hear us, Mr. Romeo. Thank you for joining us tonight. What is your contribution to today's conversation, Chief? Hello, Mr. Romeo.
First of all, thanks for. Hello, hi. Hello,
We can hear you. Yes.
Hello. Okay. Yeah, first of all, this is a nice conversation we are having here. Yeah, good. Yeah, I hope you can hear me. This is a topic of the solution to the political violence we are seeing around.
Please go ahead with your contribution.
Yeah, I'm saying
hear you.
All right. Yeah, what I'm saying is the violence is between the two main political parties. The others feel as if they are being sidelines, while the other ones, they want to have the whole show to themselves. So, in the name of defending and attacking each other, they are going to cause a problem to every one of us.
Mm-hmm.
Hello?
Chief, are you still with us?
I think I'll just for some other time. I'm having I think a network problem. I can hear a lot of feedback.
Okay, no problem. Please do that. Meanwhile, I'll let Mr. Samson to go ahead. He was already here before the others joined in. Then you'll be followed by Mutale Mlenga to give your contribution. Go ahead, Mr. Msonda.
Okay, thank you so much. Interesting topic. Huh? Yeah, the solutions to current political violence that we are currently experiencing as a country mainly lies on the two main political leaders, who are the Greens and obviously the Reds. In this case, I'm referring to PF and the UPND. These are two major political parties that we have. And if their top leaders would come out in the open, condemn in the strongest term political violence, we should be able to begin to see the way forward. Then the other stakeholder, of course, the ECZ. The ECZ also has a major role to play in terms of curbing political violence by engaging, because we have already seen, it's no longer a hidden thing. We have already seen that the two political parties are the major perpetrators of political violence. And how do we handle them? We need to engage, ECZ has to engage the two political parties and chart the way forward. As long as the two political parties are not engaged by ECZ, I was hoping that our constitution would provide certain stiff measures, or even probably to the extent of ECZ taking measures against political parties that are engaged in political violence by probably even banning them of some sort. Maybe that will help. Maybe that will send a strong signal to the would-be, perpetrators of political violence. But so far, I feel the ECZ, PF, and the UPND, these are three major organizations that can be able to play a major role in curbing political violence. Yeah, I think that's my submission for now.
Thank you very much, Chief. We are glad you joined in the conversation. We will now let go of you so that we can leave a chance for the other ones. Thank you for joining in.
Thank you so much.
Mutale Mulenga, you can come through, boss. Can you hear us?
Able to hear me?
Yes, we can now. Please give your submission.
Are you able to hear me now?
Loud and clear, boss.
Okay, good. Thank you so much. I feel like some of the solution is to strengthen our institutions, like the Zambia Police and the Electoral Commission of Zambia. I feel like these institutions are not given much mandate to operate freely. Like there's too much intimidation, and they have instilled fear in some people who are supposed to execute the duties of removing violence among Zambians. We know that our political parties are very anxious. Everyone wants to win, and everyone has equal chance to make it. Like if we talk about the Patriotic Front and the UPND, it seems like they have equal chance to make it to plot one. But these institutions, they are lacking confidence within themselves. I feel like we should give them a mandate, like the constitution states that a mandate to protect the Zambians. We can't manage to continue losing lives over election, you know. So I feel
Mm.
like some of the solution is to provide guidelines on how those political parties they should operate. If we
Who,
say
who should
that
who
each
should
political
put those
party should be
guidelines
given
in
a day,
mind?
of course we have ECZ and the Zambia police to protect lives. Like the ECZ, they have the duty to make sure that every Zambian is living in a peaceful environment. Zambia police, they should protect the lives of Zambians. So I feel like the ECZ, they have a
Mm.
duty to condemn every action of violence. We have seen a lot of cases being reported. So I feel like we are not doing so much. Maybe people are scared of losing jobs, being fired because of sidelining with the other political parties. I feel like let these bodies operate independently. They should not be interfered by political parties. That is my submission.
Uh, Mr. Mlenga, thank you for joining us. We appreciate your submission. It's very much valued. We'll now let you go so that we let Mr. Monga join in and give his submission as well. Thank you. Mr. Monga, good evening. Good to
Uh,
see you. How are you?
Good. Fine. How are you? Good evening.
Oh, we are okay.
Can you get
What
me?
do you have for us
Okay.
tonight? We can get you loud and clear.
Okay, that's good. Well, I must say, firstly, I think this is a very good platform, and this thing that you are doing, engaging us youths in such discussions, I think this is a very welcome move that you've taken up. And I wish many other youths were to take interest like we have. I think we can make a difference because we are the majority and we are supposed to be involved in these matters. I wonder where everyone is, when we have such a serious discussion going on. Away from that, I think topping up on what my friends, my colleagues have said about some of the solutions to this political violence, I think one of the things that I've noticed personally is that we have leaders in our nation who have, yes, condemned violence, but not meant what they've said. What I mean is
Mm,
that we've seen leaders go on the podium, condemn the violence. After that, they
yeah.
have been the same people that have dined with people that are actually participating in this violence that we are seeing. I think this is an issue that quite a lot of us have run away. And this is a platform
Yeah.
that I think is better for me to at least maybe try to stimulate some minds that can actually help us and propagate this issue that I'm seeing that it is slowly growing and is actually one of the major contributors to this violence. What I'm talking about is that we have in these party structures, we have people that are called security wing. Maybe I don't
Mm,
understand politics that much. I wonder why we have security wings in these political parties to protect who? Who gave them that mandate to to be policing people, or maybe doing that say the same job they are calling to say they are in the security wing? We have these people that are now called commanders in these political parties, both in the UPND and in the PF. We have these people that don't understand a single thing about policy, people that don't understand a single thing about how the country runs and what happens and what sort of. And we've seen these people dying with leaders. You know what I'm talking about. We've seen the videos where leaders have even welcomed these people back. And they're commanders, they're in army uniforms. So tell me what those people are doing. So if our leaders can mean what they say by standing up on that podium and allow the police, like my colleague was saying, to say, do your work, go to those people, they know where those people are found, arrest them, only the police are supposed to be doing the policing, because those people are there simply for the violent act. And this is what we saw in Lusaka just a few days ago. So I mean, let us as youths take it up upon ourselves to demand leadership that is going to make this country a better place. Because as we stand right now, this is not good. Whatever violence that is taking place can actually grow, like you had said, it can actually grow to a very big problem that we may not solve. I believe our police is capable enough. If we can let the police work freely, if we can make the police do their job professionally, I know this violence can come to an end. So let these commanders go. Let these people in the security wings of these political parties go. I submit.
Mr. Monga, thank you very much. You raised quite some serious issues that we need to look into. We appreciate your submission, and we hope the people that you're talking about get to hear this and they get to be inspired enough to do the right thing. Thank you very much. You can now leave the the screen. We will be expecting you again next time. Mr. Oscar, good afternoon. It looks like afternoon on the other side. Good to have you. How are you?
I'm okay. Thank you so much, and good evening.
Good evening, boss.
All right. I am calling from Italy, actually, and we still have some sunshine because it's summer here. Yes, it's summertime, so the sun goes up to 21 hours.
Oh, nice.
I am following very closely what is happening in Zambia, and it is very sad. It's very sad. We have witnessed the violence between political parties and the so-called cadres. But I think this violence can be stopped by the government at hand. The government. You know, I know that most of the time we are being politically correct. Politically correct. We don't want to call the reality, call a spade a spade. Right. So the violence can be stopped in one day by the government. And without the government showing signs of seriousness to stop the violence, I'm telling you, there are reasons which we can give to justify the actions of UPND, the actions of PF. There are 1,000 reasons to justify those violences, but I think it's a question of governance. If the president wants to stop the violence, he can stop it in one day. If
I agree. I think I have that opinion all the time.
If our police cannot manage, I pose this question seriously to you, friends, on the panel and listening on radio and on social network. I pose a question. If the police cannot manage, why can't our president involve the military? That's first question. The second question, I am working at the hospital here. Allow me just maybe to add one topic probably you are not discussing. I'm working at the hospital, and the measures in Italy, you know that Italy has been hit very heavily with COVID-19.
Yeah.
Since last year, we are on partial lockdown. Partial lockdown means from 22 hours to 06 in the morning, no business, no alcohol, no restaurants, no bars, no nightclubs. since last year, every day. Now look, you friends, my friends, come on, please. We want to save our brothers and sisters. Why our measures? Why can't our president emulate what is happening in England, in Israel, in the United States, in the UK? There is a night lockdown, 22 hours, 204 hours in the morning, no nighting, no clubbing. And also here we come back to the government. Second question, is our president ready to emulate what is happening in Europe, where the COVID has hit? Thousands and thousands of people have died. They lock us up from 22 hours to 04 hours. Why Zambia doesn't want to emulate this? Thank you so much. And I hope I haven't consumed your precious time.
Okay, sorry, I think my mic was muted. So I was saying, Mr. DSM, you're already in. It's your time to give your submission, but I was asking that you may please have to introduce yourself because your name is shown only initials, and the rules are that you must have an identifiable name for you to contribute. But welcome. So give us your name and then give your submission.
Okay, thank you very much. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, sir, loud and clear.
Okay, all right, thanks. My name's David Mumba. Yeah, you can hear me? Can you hear me?
So good evening, moderator.
Okay, guys, I'm sorry I chest myself out. I don't know how with my fingers, but I did it. So I deeply apologize. So I think we'll proceed with Mr. Lamek. I didn't hear the submission of the last gentleman. So please, Mr. Lamek, take it up from wherever he left it.
So good evening, moderator.
Okay. Yes. Thank you so much for giving me the platform to share my thoughts on the topic under discussion. I think that to face the truth and what is obtaining in Zambia now, in government is a violent party, and they benefit from this. That's why they cannot condemn it. They are actually sponsored the violence. It's for the stronger, or where others are maybe becoming more populous to perpetrate a strategy they have taken from the MMD, and they have used it for years. We are sad that UPND in between, in terms of when they want to defend themselves, then they are also been put in the same bracket as a violent party. But this violence is coming solely from PF, and it condemned because it's sponsored. They are sponsoring it. And it's very sad because the direction we are taking, we may take our country to proportions that it will be difficult to reach. What is the lasting solution to do? It is to vote them from power, other options, and to have peace in Zambia. If you want to research, you can check that all the institutions, the serious institutions that we have been deliberately weakened, beginning with the Zambia police, deliberately being weakened and are being even scorned by the cadres for the same party, the party in government. So that's a deliberate strategy, and they cannot condemn it. They are doing deliberately because that's how they operate. And many other institutions that you can also cite, the Anti-Corruption Commission, the Drug Enforcement Commission, use these institutions to their benefit. So the party in government now has deliberately weakened the public institutions to their own benefit. And today, for discussion, we're looking at the Zambia people, but they're deliberately weakened, such like they are more powerful than the police. So what do we do to save ourselves as a nation? Vote them out. Let's try other options, and we'll have peace in Zambia. We'll see each other as brothers, despite the parties that we may be supporting. I submit and I sign off for the thank you, and I hope you got me. My network wasn't good.
We got you, sir. Mr. Lamek, thank you for joining us. It looks like you are experiencing a technical challenge, so you froze, you freezed. One of those things. But thank you very much. We still heard you. Mr. Humphrey, you've been here for some time now, and you've heard the submissions that the rest of the panelists have given. Mr. Lamek is from giving his solution where he's saying perhaps we should vote out this government. That's when we are going to be able to have a country that is violence-free, especially that we are going towards elections. And we're hoping perhaps maybe for him, if we change, we will not have the same case the next time we're having elections. What's your opinion on our situation right now in the country?
Good evening, moderator. Thank you so much for giving me this chance on this platform to discuss this issue affecting our country. We as youth, I agree also with Mr. Lamek submissions. I think I concur with him. What he said is true. But I also want to add up to say the reason why we are having this violence in part of the country is because there are other institutions that have been weakened by the same government, we are talking of the police. They are not doing their job. Reason why? Because the government in place has given more power to the cadres, whereby they cannot challenge, they cannot do anything to a cadre. This is the reason why the violence has escalated. Is because now other parties, they feel that the police cannot do anything. They are finding a way of defending themselves. At the end, they are also counted as part of the violent party like UPND. But myself, I would also say the best thing is to vote out this government so that the other institutions like police, they start working independent than order from PF or anyone else from PF to start ordering them to do the work. As of now, I would say the country is quite facing a very big challenge, and the solution this time around is to give the power to the police to do their work accordingly or professionally, according to the way they've been trained, not to do according to the way the cadre wants. Because I've seen a lot of cases of violence has been happening due to some PF cadre trying to interrupt other colleagues, what and what. So I think the problem is the government. So we are asking the government to at least leave the police to work on their own and do their work properly. Thank you so much. I rest my submission as of today, Madam Moderator.
Thank you very much, Mr. Humphrey. We hope to see you again. We appreciate your submission. The ball jumps to Mr. Shadrick. Good evening, Chief. Thank you for joining us. Mr. Shadrick, can you hear us? Mr. Shadrick, I don't know if you can hear us, but we're saying the ball is over to you. You can give your submission. Hello, are you able to see us? So I'm getting, Mr. Shadrach, just hold on. I'm getting a notification on my side that your mic is not connected. I can't unmute you here because your mic isn't connected. Can you try and use the option where it's showing that your mic is supposed to be connected? Press there to open your mic. Mr. Shadrach, we still can't hear you. Your mic, I'm being given a signal here that your mic is unconnected. Okay, maybe for now, let's try to sort the mic issue. So I'll send you back to the waiting room and then just try to see if your mic is able to unmute itself. Meanwhile, I'll have to ask Mr. Mwandi to please open your camera. Otherwise, it will be impossible for you to give your submission. Mr. Mwandi, if you can hear us, please open your camera because you can't give a submission without opening your camera. Mr. Kangwa, I think you can go ahead and give your opinion while we are waiting for the two gentlemen to help us with doing the needful.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Good evening to you and good evening to all the viewers.
Good evening, Chief. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. So, looking at the topic which we have at hand, what are the solutions to political violence? So, when we look at political violence, we look at the things that are happening in the world, in our country, actually, where we're supposed to have elections on August 11th, but now on August 12th, but now when we look at what is happening, uh, this same political violence, it can affect our elections. So the only solution that is there for political violence, it is where we have different political parties, they start sensitizing their candidates and their supporters about political violence, because the same political violence, it can hinder their voice and it can hinder their votes, and it can bring the participation of people lower as compared to the previous elections which had. When you look at the people which were registered in 2016 and when you look at the people that are registered this year, it is very different. And we're going to find out to say the turnout is going to be very bad. Why? Because of the same political violence which you are experiencing in our country. And then the other thing is where the ECZ should start having a political violence awareness campaigns in each and every province of Zambia. They start having awareness campaigns about political violence. Ever since this election period, the campaign period has started, I've never seen any sensitization about political violence. I've never seen any awareness about political violence. So it is their job and it is their duty to carry out sensitization and awareness campaign about political violence. Because if they don't do that, the same political violence which we are talking about today, we'll be just talking about it every day, every day, every day. It's just going to be the order of the day. Every day we're going to be talking about political violence. Every day we're going to be talking about political violence. Why? It is because people don't have knowledge and they don't have the understanding about political violence. Today, when you go into the community, you go into any society, ask anyone about political violence. What do you know about political violence? They will tell you that I don't know. Don't they know? It is because there is no sensitization campaign about political violence. Let us look about the rallies and the roadshows. They have been cancelled. Why? It is because of the same political violence. If people know the effects and the badness of political violence, these things they can't be cancelled. They can still be there. So my suggestion is that there can be awareness campaigns and also sensitizing people, not only the people, but also encouraging the people that are standing as president, that are standing as MPs, that are standing as councillors, when they are campaigning, when they are carrying out their door-to-door campaigning, they should also be talking about political violence. They should also be advocating for political violence, because the same political violence, it is going to affect them. This one, it is going to affect them badly and sadly. You're going to have a lower number of people going to participate in these elections. Why? Because of political violence. Many people are being injured today. Even right now, the same time we're talking here, there are people outside there who are injured, and the records, they can be brought out. Do you think those people are going to participate in elections? An injured person who is in the ICU, can that person vote? No, they can't. So my suggestion is that we can be having awareness campaigns and also sensitization about this same political violence. Those are the only solutions, according to my perspective. Those are the only solutions which I think are going to work and which is going to help our country, Zambia.
Thank you very much for your submission. We appreciate it and we really value it. And we also value your solution. For now, we'll let you go and let the others give their opinions. Thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Royd Banda, you are next. Good evening, Chief. How are you?
Hello?
We can hear you, Mr. Banda. Please go ahead.
Yeah, according to my views, moving forward as our country, I think the one who's coming next as to rule this country, we should remove this cadalism system. because capitalism system is the one that brought down this country. Since PF come into power, they brought this capitalism system much power rather than it was in MMD. So if we have a next president who's coming, I don't know if it's the ruling party, the one who's in power, or the other one, I don't know. But we should remove this capitalism system, because when you go to police, like the other speaker was speaking, they have weekend police. They work on one side, because when someone is a cadre, you take him to police, there's nothing they can do. But when someone is just a normal citizen, go there with a problem, they'll look at you as if you don't think properly, you see? So I think for us to move forward, we have to remove this capitalism system and look to one another as brothers and sisters. I think that's what I can say about this. Thank you very much.
Mr. Roy, thank you very much.
Yeah.
We have Mr. Joseph? Please, the mic is yours. You know the topic already. Good evening. How are you and what is your submission? Well, Joseph, Matmutimvera. Mr. Joseph was saying the mic is yours. You have to say something. Can you hear us? Hello? Okay, if you can't hear us, I think for now we'll have to let go of you so that we have someone else speak. Mr. Shaiman, good evening. Thank you for joining us. Please go ahead and speak.
Thank you for having me. I won't have much to say, but I'm going to say a few things that I think a lot of people have said. This political violence, indeed, it's going to affect like the election turnout. It's going to affect the livelihood of us even after the elections. And as citizens, are we still going to have? Are we going to have violence every 5 years? I'm sorry. Are we going to have violence every other 5 years? We have elections. I don't think this is what we want our country to be like. And this violence is orchestrated, according to me, because the authority knows the people behind the violence, either from which camp. They know who's behind those violence. They know who they call the commanders in both camps. Why don't they disband those same camps? Why don't they disband the cadreism? Why would they let some ministers were mentioned of ferrying the cadres to Mpulungu on the last, I don't know if it's Mpulungu where we saw the last videos.
Yeah.
And the other ones were in Lusaka recently. We saw them, everybody saw them. But how many were arrested? That's the question that we should be asking ourselves. What is the police doing about this violence? What is the authority doing about this violence? A statement from the president alone is not enough. That's just a statement that ends there. But we want action. We want to see people getting arrested because they beat up somebody who had a choice of his own in a democratic country for his party he thought he wants to vote for. And when you beat me or beat my family member, do you think I'm going to vote for you because you've done that? No, I'm definitely going to tell my family to not vote for these people because they are violent. We are headed to a country where we won't be free even to support any party anyhow. I don't think democracy still exists now because recently a journalist was wearing, I don't know if she's a journalist or just a radio personality, was wearing a red scarf. I read a sad story and she was harassed. But look, she was just innocent. Maybe she's even non-partisan, and she ends up to be harassed by people. I think it's education. We need to educate these people about this violence. We need to educate the effects of violence. We need to educate everybody how we are going to be affected, not just now, in the future. Because these kids that are growing now, look at Uganda. Look at how Uganda is right now. Kenya had the same experience, I think, in 2008. It's crazy, and the government, the authority, we ask them to do something. They are supposed to act. Otherwise, we'll continue saying they are the ones behind the violence. They are the ones paying those cadres to beat their friends. That's what I'll continue believing in. Otherwise, I hope this comes to a change, and we pray for a peaceful election and a peaceful Zambia. We only have one Zambia, and we can't afford to lose the peace that everybody has enjoyed in the past. Thank you.
Mr. Sharman, thank you very much for joining in. We appreciate and value your submission, even though you said you only talk for a small period,
I'm sorry.
which became more.
I'm sorry.
Okay, Mr. Joseph, I don't know if you can hear us, but I gave you the mic before Mr. Sharman spoke. If you can hear us, please say
yes,
something.
I can hear you now. I can hear you now.
Please go ahead and give your submission. I'll kindly ask that you make your submission short, in a minute or two, because we're already running out of time, so that we get to admit the last people, and then we get to finish the program.
All right, quickly, not a problem. First of all, I would like to take you back to Kasama. If you saw what happened in Kasama during the by-elections, we saw the PF cadres destroying a UPND car in full view of the police, and the police couldn't do anything. So if we're going to stop political violence, we need to know exactly what's causing it. Because if we don't know exactly what's causing political violence, it will be very impossible to stop it. So I think for me, the roots of political violence are, number one, poor leadership, biasness, and weak public institutions. We've seen how I heard somebody talk about how biased the police have been. We've all seen this, it's in public domain. So if we have poor leadership, weak public institutions, tribalism, hate speech, human rights abuse, corruption, all these contribute to political violence. When people lose faith in the public institutions, they resort to defending themselves. And this is what we've seen with the PF government, because they haven't taken time to address the issue. Addressing the issue is not enough. Talking about it is not enough. I can tell you, PF is in power. If they want to stop political violence, they can do it at any time they feel like. It's because they are surviving on it, and it's a system they have adopted from the MMD government, and it's currently working for them. They are surviving on the ignorance of the public, and they're surviving on the ignorance of Zambians. So if we're going to stop political violence, we've seen people go scot-free with political violence. We've seen people do all manner of stuff. As long as you're PF, you won't be arrested. We've lost faith in the police. So they need to regain that trust. The police need to regain the public's trust, and then political violence can come to an end.
Mr. Joseph, thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate your submission.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Shadrack. Mr. Shadrack, the mic over to you. Thank you for reconnecting and working on your mic. Please, under a minute, because we're running out of time and we still have people on the line, and we may need them to speak real quick as well. Please give your submission.
Yes, madam.
If you can hear us, please give your submission, Mr. Shadrack.
Okay. Okay. The only thing that I just want to say is, as you can see, most of these political parties, they are having. You are getting what I'm saying?
Yes, we can get you.
Hello?
We can get you clear.
Madam, are you getting me? Hello?
Mr. Shadrach, we can get you.
Hello? Okay, okay. Political violence. Yes. Can I proceed?
Yes, go ahead.
Hello, what I'm saying, hello? You're getting me, madam?
Yes, we can get you, Mr.
Okay,
Shadrach.
what I was
Please.
saying, contributing to this political violence. The starting. Okay, okay. These things which they are forming, like it's like for each political party, they are also contributing. Because you cannot have different security wings. The only security wing with that with police, and the police are the ones that are supposed to control these functions that has to do with the rallies. But if every political party is having the security wing, it would be just bringing confusions. And the other thing is that political cadres are given more power than the police. You find that the police can't even say anything if a political cadre is there. He will be told something that will frustrate a police. At the end of the day, political cadre are even more power, it's like they are having more powers than the government police. So if these things can be controlled, hello?
Yes, Mr. Cedric, I've heard your submission. Thank you very much for joining in. Unfortunately, we're in the 9 minutes, so we can't allow you to have more time, but we hope you come back again next time to join in for the conversation. Okay, a quick one. Mr. Moses, your submission in 1 minute. We are in the last minute, so you may have to use your minute real wise. Okay, we've lost Mr. Moses there. Mr. Isaac, the mic is over to you. Please give your submission. You have 1 minute.
All right, under a minute. I think the issue of cadarism has really destroyed us as a nation. Why do I say so? Because we find that a lot of young people, they are currently unemployed. They don't have a source of livelihood. And then at the end of the day, they end up being used as tools of political violence. So I think the solution relies on young people. We really need to stand up and know that we are the generation, we are the leaders today, not tomorrow. So we can't just be used as tools of political violence. So as young people, in as much as we don't have employment, in as much as we don't have what we can be doing to make our life okay, but I think it's high time we know our values, we know
Mr. Isaac, you ran out of your 1 minute and your network has done an injustice to you, so we can't hear anything. So I'll allow you to leave the screen and hope you join in next time. Okay, so the 2 people remaining on my screen will be the last one, and Miss Rose will be the last person to speak because I'm glad she's a female. So, Mr. Mwandi, quickly give your submission, and then you can leave the conversation for the women in a minute. Mr. Mwandi, there is a name showing on my screen. It's saying Peter Mwandi. If you can hear me, please give the submission in a minute so that I leave Madam Rose to be the last person to speak. Okay, unfortunately, I can't wait anymore in the last minute. I'm sorry, Mr. Mwandi, we can't hear you and your network is pretty bad. Madam Rose, the last person to speak and the only woman who's contributed, who's going to contribute today. I'm glad to see you, ma'am. How are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you, and good evening, Zambia. I'm calling from United States, and it's a pleasure speaking on your
Oh,
platform.
amazing.
Really, we have been speaking
You
this.
are very much welcome.
We have been speaking this in Zambia. You know, it's really sad to the president because the president have to tame the cadres so that they can be fair elections. The thing is that, and we are seeing a lot of things in Zambia, especially in Lusaka. How are the people going to vote? Because you cannot force people to vote for you if they don't like you. I'm going to give an example here in United States. We voted what we wanted. And if they can allow each party to campaign, it can be fair, but for them, that's why there's a lot of fighting, because they don't allow the other party to campaign. If the president will stand up and say no, no cadres, it will be easier for them, but the president, he cannot speak. So this thing, and to tell you the truth, it's gonna be a lot of problems when people wants to go vote. For example, I stand or I just want to campaign. I'm not voting. I just want to campaign. Really, it's sad when we see what is happening in Zambia. This is not the Zambia we know. If this continue, what are we gonna show our grandchildren? And I'm glad you guys have been speaking, and a lot of people have been speaking. If the president they can hear, although because if I was in Zambia, maybe I can't even speak. The next thing I'll be in jail. But I'm here, I can open my mouth. Although even we come to Zambia, maybe we don't know what is going on in Zambia really, especially because there is no way, we don't even know who is the police, who is the cadre, and because the police are so intimidated by the cadres. And the other thing, there is no way they can put more powers to the cadres to control the country. Because the cadre right now are the people who are controlling the country. That's why there's so much violence in Zambia. That's the only thing I can contribute.
I'm glad that you joined in because you've touched very important issues that are causing a lot of trouble in the country right now. I appreciate you joining in. Like I said, you're the only female who's contributed to this, so I really appreciate you joining in. I hope you continue doing this every Wednesday on this same platform. For now, you have a good night. I can see there's the sun there, but I'll apply my time. So I'll say you have a good night and hope to see you again.
Actually it's noon here. It's 12 o'clock.
Oh, great. Thank you very
Because
much,
really,
madam.
I'm glad because I always follow your program and all the time I listen. Sometimes if I'm not busy, that's today because I'm not so busy. That's why I join. Really, if the president can stand up and say no, because we have seen, I'll mention the name, although people they don't want to mention. Look at Ino Kalimanshi. There is no way you can give the uniform to you even say the commander. What is he commanding for? What is he commanding for?
Madam, we thank you very much. We wish we can go on and on and on, but you came in the last minute. I assure you come again next time. I'm going to give you a chance so that you're the first one to speak so that I can have finally a female say something. We've already gone past our time.
Okay, that's fine.
We appreciate your. Yeah, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, this is a time we love to hit, and we have to come to the end of the program. We've already eaten into our time by 4 minutes, but we hope you continue joining in. We've had your solutions, we've had your contributions, and we are not taking them for granted. We pray with you that the people who've been mentioned, who we are claiming that can be able to stop the situation, are able to listen and be able to get the advice from the people and actually execute it. We wish you all a good night, and we hope you keep your voters' cards safe enough for 12th August. It's not so far from today. For now, it's good night and bye-bye. See you again next time on Wednesday at 20 hours.